At this time, making the drunk monkey people second, because they're hard to follow. We established that hard act to follow. All right, so next reader, Nate Maxon, is a poet and performance artist. He discovered poetry as a boy, the way other people find religion or drugs, which means awesome, and hasn't looked back since. He is the author of several collections of poetry, most recently The Age of Jive from Red Dashboard Press. He lives in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Come on up, Nate.
My books, some of my most recent two books, Age of Jive and I Wish for a Serpent from 2012, are back there for sale. I want you to pay attention to this cake. I'm going to put it right here. When I'm done reading my poems, I'm going to eat it. Yes. For your entertainment. Awesome. This cake is my sword of Damocles.
I'm waiting with bated breath.
Yeah, me too. Anyway, the first poem I'm going to read, funny thing about this first poem, I wrote it about a year ago, at a time when I was still living with my parents, because I burned down my life in 2013 and moved back with my parents for a year.
Woo!
Yeah. And
yes, for bad decisions.
I read it at I read it at a open mic in Albuquerque at a bookstore called Page One, nice bookstore. And the bookstore was down the street, and I asked my father if he wanted to come to the reading. To me in my reading, and he said, "No, I'm going to sleep. I'm going to take a nap." And I said, "Okay." So I went up there and I did the poem I'll read you in just a sec. And then he popped out from behind a bookshelf, and I was like, I was horrified for reasons you are about to find out. And I couldn't talk to him for like a week. And then my stepmom says to me, she says, "Your father certainly liked that sex poem you read the other night. So this is that sex poem. It's called Mayday Lullaby. Sleeping, or rather not sleeping, on an air mattress in my mother's house, I'm contemplating the taste of dust on furniture. Bitter and full, like an accidental sip of beer when you're very young and think it's apple juice before spitting it out. And how last night, after the show I did, all those people kept walking up to me to express their admiration. And I sat down with one of them and some of his friends, a frizzy-haired child of 21 named Jefferson, all the names have been changed here, mind you, and a red-headed woman/girl named Jessica, or was it Caitlin, I don't remember, kept smiling at me. And Jefferson, my new friend, whispered into my ear in that special conspiratorial way that very young males have when talking to each other, "I think she likes you. If you play your cards right, you could at least get a hand job tonight. Assuming you don't have a girlfriend, of course, do you?" I said, "Nah, not officially, no, but let's just enjoy the night as it happens, shall we?" Not sure how to answer, or if I even wanted a hand job. The woman, really a woman, not a child like Jessica/Caitlin or Jefferson and myself, I'm not sure what I am with, we've been meeting up every few weeks to drink and then have sex on a mattress in a room at her sister's house. I've never met her sister. I'm consistently hypnotized by her, and one time we ran out of condoms and she told me she was on the pill, so we did it anyway. And I trust her, despite the fact that she freely admits to having sex with more men than just me. How many of their unknown germs have I shared now? I trust her, and yet, in my more daring flights of hypochondria, which can get pretty daring, I convince myself that she's given me HIV, which she hasn't, and panic because I don't have health insurance. But then I'll freely admit how romantic the idea of ruination has always been to me. In the bar, sitting there, watching this woman I apparently had a chance with, or at least her hand, according to Jefferson, I imagine getting that hand job, and in the final moments of it, telling her, lying to her, "I have HIV," and watching her recoil her hand back from my penis like it was a spitting cobra, and then running down the street screaming, "Unclean, unclean," right into traffic where a city bus takes her out, leaving her shoes upright on the pavement, like the Wicked Witch of the East under a house. More frightening prospect than my paranoia over dying of a known factor is that something is inside me, something unknown. That the woman who I lay there with that first time, resisting all urges, even as she whispered like a religious chant, "I just want you to fuck me, fuck me, fuck me," until she told me she was on the pill, obviously that made me change my mind, might have awakened something else in me, something black and filled with fire. How does J.R.R. Tolkien describe the dwarves letting the Balrog out of the depths of Moria? Ah yes, the dwarves delved too greedily and too deep and awakened something in the dark. Shadow and flame, and all that. If I might continue to wax philosophical about the things I've put in my body, because of an absurd joke on The Simpsons, which I didn't really understand till I was much older than when I first saw it, I spent several years believing that A Streetcar Named Desire was in fact a musical. I can't blame her. Whatever was in me was always in me, and I wish I could have told Jefferson and what's-her-face, that guy you saw on stage, the one both of you were so taken with, well, he's a lunatic. He's a Balrog. He's sick. And I wish I could be him all the time, but I can't. Still want me to take my pants down? I have a disease there isn't even a name for. Sexy, huh? I didn't say these things to them or to anyone. I had to leave the bar a bit early because my friend that I was relying on a ride back home with was leaving early. I bid them adieu and made sure to waggle my eyebrows at Catherine. Was that it? In what I considered to be an obscene fashion. So here I am on an air mattress in my mother's trailer, desperately wishing I was with the woman who had been daring to ruin me. I like the way she nibbles on my back after we're finished. Or that I'd spoken more than a few sentences to that 21-year-old child last night. This infatuation will pass, like every other one, like a kidney stone or a fever gone through and then out like a firework or a spirit into the sky. I'm going to be 25 years old in around 2 months, and 2 days after my birthday, I'm expected to start paying back the student loan I took out before I dropped out of college, to which I say, ha ha, good luck wringing it out of me. Well then, something's burning, subtle. Not a fire in the woods, but something underneath. Something's burning. I'm so old these days. So old. And I never want to go to sleep again. This next poem's called Expressions from the Pale. Station Z is a military term for the last friendly outpost in an unfriendly place. An Americanism related to the older phrase, beyond the pale. But it is a misconception to assume the pale just divides the nation from itself, or even the desert. Station Z is a place just a few measurements removed, a quiet alleyway with no crime but a wind, present, where some mechanism keeps you from leaving. It holds me back as well, though I am curious. Some instinct orders not one step further, not a one past this place, and so far I have listened. But I've also maybe made a little peephole in the subtle fabric. You know what I found? Other than that, I've noticed that so many people seem to choose to jump off the Golden Gate Bridge, but not into the ocean. I found the gone years. I found them. They exist like stars out there, jumping. An optical illusion. Laika, the first dog in space, and her horribly disfigured cosmonaut owner Vladimir play fetch with vinyl records and bones, or something like that. Whereas our astronauts, when thirsty, have to remove their helmets and drink the sweat. Eternity is not merciful, but it is just beyond the trenches. I assume the phrase Station Z was invented during the First World War to mean the light before no man's land, where you could not return. There's a mathematical consistency with other phrases from the time. Station Z was the last safe hole, the barrier before the pale, later renamed the DMZ, and after the pale was the shifting sea. The boneyard, although amusingly both sides dug trenches as if to trap the unknown between them, where it could rage itself into dust like a caged tiger. If you had to go over, you might have said, I'm going to meet the tiger. This is also where the phrase the whole 9 yards originates, though it was also used in baseball. There were said to be 9 yards between the pale and the tiger, and the language of tigers, which no one speaks anymore. Language gestates in those places, in clammy and eyes-closed places, the same way a virus does. One imagines digging down with a spade into the scarified mud and resenting the birds that still sang through calamity because this was before we learned how to hurt the clouds. Eternity is not merciful, it just is. And the Orthodox Jews, those more religious than me, who, if on an airplane, feel the need to wrap themselves in plastic in case they fly over a graveyard, they probably understand this. But all I've got is anecdotal evidence. Station Z. Of course, soldiers would give such an obvious name. Of course. There's something buried beneath our feet now. All the wheels from all the wagons that brought us here. Of course. Some of these phrases, I won't say which, I'm not actually 100% sure originate from the Great War. They originate from a war, but it might be the one that comes to me in dreams. A hushy little conflict that comes to me on cool blue wings at the end of winter. What happens if I were to go there? Open my eyes when the night terrors were all around me. I might have done it, but I don't quite remember anything but the dust. I get a good lungful of it every once in a while, of the dust. When it rains, eternity is just a swallow. One more. This poem's called Oblations. It starts with a quote from Bob Dylan. And the Good Samaritan, he's dressing. He's getting ready for the show. He's going to the carnival tonight. Desolation. Tomorrow we commemorate the sacrifice. I would like to play my part, put on my makeup, shine my dancing shoes, and gargle lemon water for it, while out there I can hear their boots moving in a rhythm that almost mimics the weather. And I never realized before that footsteps were capable of rhyming. I'd like to play my part, but I'm a student of history, so I need to have something more than a meager burning to fill my belly. Something more than all this showbiz. Maybe a lucky number branded on the skin. The door is locked now, and a little shimmy in front of the mirror shows that I'm confident, but not overly confident. I'm all too aware of certain ancient societies' ritual elevation of a fool. Give him a microphone and all the wine he can drink. Karaoke night, and every vote counts. Every mother tells their sons it could be them if they study very hard and go to bed when they're told things like Oswald's scope was Occam's razor, after all, was a thermometer in a leg of lamb, or a Tower of Babel built to tumble for the insurance money, shaking the romantics off like fleas, or someone else's teardrops with which to flavor the stroganoff. Not the first now. Oh no. Come summer, we thaw them out. Pull out the founding grandfathers from the permafrost. Wakey, wakey! Here's how you achieve world peace. Consider the Roman Emperor Valerian I. He was captured in battle with the Persian king Shapur the Great of the Sassanids, one possible origin for the word assassin. And then what happened to him is unclear, though the fact that he was a pagan post-Christ emperor did not endear him to the people who appreciated his end the most either way. One account is that he was flayed alive and then had his corpse stuffed with straw and turned into a scarecrow, or that he was made to drink molten gold after being used as Shapur's personal footstool for a few months. But it is also possible that he was sent, along with his captured sons, to live out the rest of his life in peaceful and nonviolent captivity. Now, if you were a Roman citizen, which would you prefer? It's almost time now. The streets have been cleared, and all the college kids have been locked in their bedrooms. Those have been a chance, that is. Which would you prefer, that the emperor was tortured to death, or that he's under house arrest? Which one gets you more riled up? An either-or situation, the masquerade. So we wave our checkered flags and eat hot dogs in the park while celebrating the last man. The last man to walk there did so in 1972. Let's be honest. Sometimes the sacrifice is just what the word implies, a choice, no matter what actually happened. And this is why we make up rumors of JFK and Elvis and Jim Morrison hiding out in retirement communities and then angrily refute them. Oh no, not my guru. Tomorrow we commemorate the sacrifice. Easter Sunday, Messiah drinking coffee the morning after or nursing a hangover. Domestication or authentication. Choice is about more than black or white or on or off. It spits in the face of the unquick or the not quick enough, or even the slow, or those who don't engage with the spectacle. Almost ready. It's bad luck to see me beforehand. One nation under God, and my God is he heavy. One name check for reverence and one for measurement of heaviness. The whole year is marked by this sacrifice or that sacrifice, something to throw on the fire, a way to keep warm, like old yearbooks, calendars full of tiny tombstones calcified there in time, and tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. Remember to pick a sliver of ivory from the gallows for good luck. Opened up wide with surgical instruments and night vision goggles to gauge the reactions like Ouija boards and Ipecac. Lifetime membership to a choir, all dressed in white like bad luck in Chinese. Almost time, and to each home we bequeath a stage. Valerian was a great persecutor of Christians, and it is possible that his more terrible endings were given to him in hindsight and unknowing to get back at his utter rejection of martyrdom. There's even a theory that he may have been one of the many St. Valentines. Either way again, he must have certainly appreciated the irony. So out in the city, the sky's going anticipatory gray, a light rain, but not enough to disrupt any planned activity. All in all, a great day for reenacting Macbeth in the park. And I do mean reenacting. So maybe today's the day. Maybe I'll be chosen this time, if not next time, for the pageant, for the empire, for the lead. If I close my eyes and focus hard, I can almost hear them out there cheering for me. I've got my lottery ticket, my lucky rabbit's foot, my script, almost ready to go. A second layer of drugstore lipstick smackdown and I'll be out. Just...
Maxing out. All right. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna eat my words on that one. Yeah, that is a hard act to follow. That was a mic drop. But this is my girl. If anyone can come back from that, it's this one. Rachel Lorecki holds an MFA from Antioch University, Los Angeles. Woo! Her fiction has received an honorable mention in Glimmer Train's New Writers Contest and a 2014 Best of the Net nomination from Spry Literary Journal. Her work has appeared in Los Angeles Review, Masters Review, Midwestern Gothic, Drunk Monkeys, and elsewhere. She lives in Los Angeles. Her story, The Dykettes of Shawnee Junior Senior High School, was published on Drunk Monkeys on December 20th, 2013. Let's give it up for Rachel.
Thank you all for being here tonight. I appreciate Matt for inviting me to be one of the readers. I appreciate you all for being here. The story is called The Fluid in Our Veins. Ava's corpse is winking at me from behind the glass of her display case. I try to ignore her. Tonight, I love my husband, Ron. Tonight, he has resumed his rightful position as the most powerful man in Argentina. And because I've never before felt this kind of love, or is it pride, I focus on the prosciutto in the bowl in front of me and look away from the dead woman on the other side of the dining room table. She winks again. It's the sly gesture of a co-conspirator. She's always been persistent. In life, she got what she wanted through force of will and a talent for exploiting her rival's weaknesses. And she knows I'm exhausted. She can feel it in my bones. She will not leave me be. I'm raising my spoon to my lips when I hear her voice inside my head. Poison his mind. I shake my head. Is something wrong? Juan asks. He's perceptive, my husband, and that is one of the reasons why he is present again. No, I say. In this moment, it's an honest answer. Right now, it does not matter that Juan is 77 to my 42, that he has an old man's face and equipment, that he slurps his prosciutto and then allows it to dribble down his chin. This evening, at least, I can bask in the finery of the Pinkerville wheels. This dining room, because there are multiple dining rooms here, and a pool and a greenhouse and polo stables, which is part of the reason my husband was first overthrown, has a long table so it's easier to ignore Ava's glass coffin, which is tilted slightly upward in a way that suggests she would like to join our meal. Tomorrow she'll be moved to the Casa Rosada to lie in state, but tonight she remains our dinner guest, as she was when we lived in Madrid. Juan returns to his stew, and for a moment our meal continues as usual. Then her voice again. Why not? Because I say no, and I am the First Lady of Argentina. As was I. Ava's lips forced themselves into a brief smile. She's not as beautiful as she was in life, and of course movement for her is not as easy as it is for me. A youth spent dancing in nightclubs has kept me limber, and even though my skin and breasts have begun to sag, I am still lovelier than Ava. Although her embalmer took great care with his work, her 17-year disappearance was unkind to her corpse. Her nose is broken and her feet bear gashes that evoke the stigmata. We are alike, Iha, she continues. You and I know what it is to strive for greatness. We are of the same blood. It's true. I recognize it, Eva recognizes it, even Juan recognizes it. It's why he asks me every so often to open Ava's case and lie next to her, so that her magic can pass from his dead wife to his live one. If it was a shock that first time to lie next to a corpse, the backs of those cold, waxy hands against mine, it was even more surprising to hear her voice. But I knew instantly that she'd chosen me because we were kindred souls. My life had followed her path. It was natural that the spirit of Argentina would find a confidant in me. It was the humblest of beginnings, that first conversation, as simple and spare as our childhoods. From then on, whenever we spoke, I remembered the mountains of La Rioja, the stench of cattle, the dark corners of the dancers' clubs, the dreams of Buenos Aires. But her running commentary has become less benign as time has worn on, and her little movements are a recent development, ever since Juan decided we'd be returning to Argentina. Sometimes, when I pass by her display case, I notice a fog against the glass in her mouth, the cloudiness a child would leave behind after he's pressed too closely against the window. I tell myself it's a trick of the light. slow, inevitable decay. You could take his place in her. You could be the most powerful woman in Argentina. There's a nice ring to that phrase, as if Ava has sounded a church bell blessing over my future, and I know she senses what I'm admitting to myself. I look at Juan. He's losing his battle with the Pochero. Brown broth is tracing patterns down his wrinkled chin, like the liquid that leaks from a newly dead body. The president of the most glorious nation in the world cannot eat like this. Better to let a woman take the reins of power. Let a woman handle the diplomacy, the state dinners, the desfilades. Ava did all this and she was beloved. I could be too. The same blood runs in my veins. It would be easy, Ava says. No one would know. I put one hand on the table to help push myself out of my chair, but then I pause. Ava's watching me. She must have lifted herself out of this chair many times during that long, agonizing struggle against the end of her life. Juan lifts his head. You're sure there's nothing wrong? I nod. I'm sure. He wipes the stew from his chin and reaches for my hand. The table and the bedroom are the only places where his actions betray his age. And now that he's cleaned his face, his movements are sure and decisive, those of a powerful younger man. His fingers are warm, alive. This is how he took my hand on our wedding day. He'd married me because the church had demanded it, but in the 12 years since then, he's given me so much more than flowers and expensive jewelry and couture gowns. He's given me a kingdom. To Juan's left, out of his line of sight, Ava will not be ignored. A sound like a sigh drips through my consciousness and settles into the recesses of my mind. It's the echo of loneliness, a yearning that's worn away its sharp edges through the passage of time, through the crew, the exile, and the return. And I understand. This is not about power, I say. You miss him. Her voice, when it comes, sounds distant, as if it's reaching across the long, deserted space of purgatory. It has been more than 20 years. It must be hard for you. I realize I cannot picture my life without my husband, without his love and charisma. We have been all over the world together. I can't imagine stepping into the Casa Rosada alone. Argentina has spent 20 years reflecting that Juan is nothing without Ava, but has forgotten in its adoration that Ava is nothing without Juan. So I try to weigh my response with tenderness, with the knowledge that perhaps sooner than later, I too will be nothing, because Juan is 77 and I am 42, and while that does not matter tonight, it's not something I can forget. Ava, I will not kill him. Juan traces a pattern on my palm. My wife, he says, First Lady of Argentina, and I feel that surge of pride again, although this time it's a pride in myself too. I return his smile. I say, I love. At the edge of my vision, Ava's chest rises and falls. The rigor mortis fights her inhalation until when her chest contracts, suddenly, painfully, it looks like a sob. So, on historical fact, with the exception of the reanimated part, all of that is true. Juan kept David a corpse starter around the world.
All right. Our next reader is Ellie Finzer, who is a contributor to Kleft Press. She writes mostly true stories and poems about the strangeness of life. Because why invent zombie gnomes who take over your garden and torment the cat when you've been robbed at gunpoint over a $3 sweatshirt that is, at this point, most certainly out of fashion? She loves her one-eyed pug because he snores, and that's what she sounds like when she laughs. If you're funny, you'll get to hear that laugh a lot. She married a human giant and has a couple of ridiculously adorable children. I can attest to that. Facebook. She's just earnest enough that these family details actually matter. Her first book will be published by Kleft Press in 2016 and will be an introspective yet universally appealing study of the transcendent mayhem of living. Please welcome Ellie Finzer.
Thank you guys for having me here tonight. I'm going to dedicate this set to this guy who was at the very first time I read in public. This is about 2004, and it was a little coffee shop in Phoenix called the Willow House. This little house that they turned into a cafe. It was fantastic, and I just moved to Phoenix, and I was really young, and I was really scared, and I did this reading, and I was really excited. And this guy came up to me afterwards, and he was like, gotten beyond that confessional stuff, and I was the same for you. So, here's your confessional stuff, sir. This is called I Took Mushrooms, Fought God and the Devil in One. Yes! I knew I was in for it when I looked in the mirror and saw my eyes, my lips, and my nose rearranging themselves, Picasso style, into a grotesque amalgamation of a face. They warned me not to look in the mirror. I was curious. What effect could mushrooms possibly have in a bit of grass? When I saw my left eye pop out of my socket like Judge Doom in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, I understood their caution. As horrifying as it was to watch my ears flatten out like pancakes and flap up and down on the sides of my head, I couldn't stop staring at the circus sideshow playing out in front of me in that dirty bathroom mirror. And as my face melted off and stitched itself back together, I thought the effects were wearing off too soon. I needed more. I probably shouldn't have eaten that second bag. We played Twister. The bright primary colored circles leapt off the board like that 3D water alien in the abyss, and I was sure it would swallow me and plunge under the fibers of carpet glowering at me miles beneath my feet. What strange layers of purgatory are waiting for a person who expires after a malevolent encounter with a crayon red alien? At least I was talking to the others now, instead of losing myself to another existential crisis in the bathroom. Or I could have been spitting marbles for all the sense I was making. And then someone said, "Let's go to the park. These trips are always much better outside." Maybe that person really believed this, but someday I'm going to create a handbook for would-be hallucinogenic drug takers, and one chapter is going to be entirely devoted to the importance of taking drugs with people who actually give a shit about what happens to you. I definitely shouldn't have had that shroom tea. The park, it was the stuff of postcards sold in family-owned corner markets, rolling hills, sweeping swaths of emerald green grass, weeping willows with graceful branches lilting in the gentle Oregon breeze like ballet dancers. I had eaten 2/8 of mushrooms and downed an entire cup of tea. I lay down under one of the willow trees in the grass, and each blade was an arm reaching for me, pulling at my clothes, raking nails across my skin, wrapping around my limbs, and keeping me pinned on the cold ground. The willow branches sprang to life as jade pythons dipping around my face, hissing and flicking their forked tongues into my hair. My friends were walking up a hill, and as their shadowy outlines came into view, I called out for them. I really wish I hadn't called out for them. In the movie Jacob's Ladder, Tim Robbins is a Vietnam vet who's suffering from mental breakdowns because he's in a secret experimentation. And he goes to a party with his girlfriend, and they're dancing, and all of a sudden his girlfriend sprouts these giant ram's horns out of her head, and he freaks out and runs out of the party. Well, that same thing